Hello, family. I want to share my testimony on why I go so hard for the Most High and just how much He loves me and how much He loves you. I have shared my testimony for many years all over the world because I have traveled a lot. Right now, I'm here in Nigeria, Africa, with my husband, and I'm just sharing my testimony to him, and he's just amazed. And he's like, why don't you share your testimony? Do it like a series so people can understand why this is important to serve the Most High. And just what did Yahushua do for you? Let me tell you, I had a rough childhood. I didn't understand why I had so much trauma until I had to do a reflection on my childhood. You see, I was put in an orphanage by my mother. I never knew my mother. I never knew my father. I never knew my grandparents. I never knew my aunts or uncles, cousins, anyone. I was put in an orphanage. And at that young age, you don't know nothing. And let me tell you, as I was in this orphanage, later I was put in a foster home. I would say probably about the age of 4 or 5. I was put in a foster home. You see, I'm from the Midwest. And growing up in the Midwest in the 60s and the 70s, we were still dealing with segregation. Now, you see, when I was young, I had really gray eyes, and I had fair skin and long curly hair. I had curly hair when I was young, long curly hair. So that means that I was bullied a lot, even in school. Not only in school, but by my peers. I was bullied by just the people that was around me, other kids that were around me. They used to call me, high yeller. They would call me pale face. They would call me sunshine girl. They would call me all kind of names. And I used to wish I was dark-skinned. I'm telling you, I used to wish and cry and said, I want to be dark. I wanted to be dark-skinned because I felt like if I was dark-skinned, they would stop beating on me. I mean, I would get black eyes. I would get my hair pulled. I would get all kind of things that would happen to me. Because in this foster home, I was being not only abused by my peers and the kids around me, but I was being abused physically by my foster mom. My foster mom used to slap me, backhand me. She would slap me so hard that I would have her handprint on my face. She would knock me down. She would push me down. She would lock me in the basement without any food. There was times when it snowed, she locked me outside for almost half the day. I was freezing outside. She would make me wash the dishes, clean the floors, wash the clothes. I had to mop, sweep, clean the stove, the oven, wash the dishes, dry the dishes, put up the dishes. I would have to wash clothes, dry the clothes on the clothesline. Yeah, we didn't have no dryer. I had to put it on the clothesline outside. I had to do all this by the age of 7. I was cleaning the whole house at 7. I was cooking food like at 7. I was making fried chicken, cornbread, collard greens, peeling potatoes. I was cooking at 7 years old, on top of trying to live, survive the beatings. I mean, I bruised so easily as a fair skin. There was times I couldn't even go to school because I would have a big old black eye. And I would have bruises all over my back and my neck, so I couldn't go to school. So I also had many other foster kids in the house. There was 5 other ones there. And there was one that was older, probably about 10 years older than me. I think I was about 6 or 7. He was probably about 17. And he used to come in the middle of the night, pick me up, take me somewhere in the house, and do things to me. And he would close my eyes and cover my mouth and say, "Be quiet and don't tell anybody." This was going on for at least a year. I think I was like 6. By the time I turned 7, I was so scared to tell him, tell my parents. I was scared because every time I tried to say something, they would slap me in the mouth. I was very quiet, very timid, very quiet. So one night I was crying so bad. I was crying. I was scared to go to sleep because I knew he was coming in there and he was doing some things that I didn't understand and process as a child. So one night I was crying in my bed and I saw this bright light in my room, and I looked up and it was this beautiful black woman with the most beautiful chocolate skin, and her eyes just glowed. And she said, "Sweetheart, come with me. Don't be afraid." And I was like, "I am afraid." I was scared. And I was like trying to hide underneath the blanket. And she's like, "Sweetheart, don't be afraid. God sent me here to protect you. So come with me, sweetheart. We're going somewhere where you can be protected." So she picks me up off the bed. And when I hug her, she smelled so good. A smell that, wow, it was like, woo. She's so pretty. Her skin was so soft. And she says, "I will protect you." And she took me in the closet. Now, I know in the closet was just my clothes and shoes and all my other siblings' clothes in there as well. But when I walked in there with her, it was just a bright room. And she took me and she sat me on her lap. And she says, "I'm going to read to you. Would you like me to read you a story?" And I said, "Yes." And I was scared. She says, "Don't be scared." She said, "God sent me here to protect you. I'm your angel. You will never be hurt around me. I'm going to protect you." And she started reading to me this book. And after she read to me, we were laughing. She was tickling me, and I was laughing. And she started to sing to me the most beautiful song. Whew. I'm getting emotional. And she was so gentle. She was so soft. And she started singing to me. She says, "You know how much God loves you. You are beloved. You are so beautiful to God. And He hates what's happening to you. And He sent me here because He's tired of this happening to you." And I remember falling asleep. And when I woke up, I was in my own bed. So every night, probably about 6 months, 6 to 7 months, she would take me and we would go different places in the house, and we would hide and we'd play games and all kind of different things. But after that, when my brother left and went to the Marines and went to Vietnam, I didn't see her again. My angel, I couldn't see, but I knew she was always there with me because I can smell her, that she was around me. So I want to tell you, even as a child, God knew I needed protection, and He sent an angel to protect me. That's my childhood of my angel in white.